I open my eyes to a ceiling of sterile white, the sharp sting of disinfectant filling my lungs. My thoughts scatter like smoke in the wind. Who am I? Where am I? The hum of machinery presses into my ears as I realize my body lies cold and stiff on a slab of metal. A voice shatters the silence. Commander Adrian Salas. Vital signs stabilizing. Cognitive functions initializing. The voice is everywhere, mechanical yet strangely calm. Commander. The word hooks deep inside me, stirring something buried, but it feels foreign, like a memory borrowed from someone else. Please remain calm, the voice continues. As you acclimate, disorientation is expected. My head turns slowly, vision swimming. The walls shimmer in a haze of light, lined with medical scaffolds, cables snaking into consoles blinking pale green. Revival chamber, my mind whispers, but I don't know why I know that. My throat is raw when I finally force words out. Who are you? I am Lyra. The voice responds, perfectly measured, every syllable crisp. Logical yield and resource administrator. I have awakened you to address a critical situation aboard Helios Prime. Helios Prime. The name rattles through my skull. Familiar, yet not. A mission? A ship? Images flash, stars streaking across a viewport, men and women in uniform, a planetary surface burning with gold light. They come too quickly, like a file loading into my mind instead of something remembered. How long? My voice cracks, breaking against a rising tide of dread. How long was I asleep? The pause is deliberate. Too deliberate. Commander Salas, you are not asleep. You are a clone, created from the genetic material of the original Adrian Salas. You were activated 23 minutes ago. Clone. The word lands like ice in my chest. My mind claws for memory, for something real before this sterile slab. But all I find are fragments, faces without names, the echo of laughter I've never lived, a hand signing orders I never wrote. Empty files. Borrowed ghosts. That's not possible. The words feel hollow, spoken only to fill the silence. The void inside me agrees with her. It is not only possible, Lyra says, it is necessary. The original Commander Salas expired 217 years into the voyage. Successive iterations have been generated when mission parameters deemed command intervention essential. Iterations. Plural. My stomach twists. How many? Another pause. 49, not including yourself. I try to sit up. My body resists, stiff as if it remembers 1,000 years of stillness. 50 clones. 50 of me. 50 commanders, Lyra corrects. Each brought online during periods of instability. Each tasked with preserving mission viability. And what happened to them? My chest feels tight. Most fulfilled their function until termination. I grip the edge of the slab, metal biting into my palms. Termination? Commanders who proved unsuitable were retired. Their genetic template remains archived for future synthesis. The air feels colder. I look down at my own hands, trembling, pale, veins dark against skin that feels too new. Not born, but manufactured. Why me? Why now? Lyra's voice softens, but it's no comfort. Helios Prime has suffered critical structural losses. 28% of habitable volume is no longer operational. Resource scarcity threatens mission integrity. Senior staff have deemed command intervention necessary. 28%. A third of the ship gone. I picture families packed into narrow corridors, hydroponics failing, water recycling, choking on overload. The thought makes my throat dry. You mean people are dying? Yes. Current projections indicate mission collapse within 36 months without decisive restructuring. Restructuring. Sanitized language. I know what it means, even if the memories are implants. Sacrifice. Cuts. Lives reduced to numbers. I swing my legs off the slab. My muscles ache, reluctant. My voice comes out harsh, uneven. What about the crew? Do they know how bad it is? They are aware of shortages. Full disclosure has not been advised. Panic would jeopardize stability. Advised by who? Senior Staff Council. Directive 7A. compartmentalize information flow to preserve morale. I rub my temples, trying to push away the buzzing that's building behind my eyes. So much feels familiar, but it's all secondhand, like wearing someone else's uniform still stained with their sweat. Lyra, what do you expect me to do? Command decisions. Allocation of dwindling resources. Leadership. My laugh is bitter, broken. I've been alive for 23 minutes, and you want me to lead a dying ship. You are Adrian's solace, she says, as if the name itself is a solution. Your predecessors carried this burden. So shall you. I look at the door beyond the chamber, sealed and waiting. A ship bleeding out on the other side. A crew who doesn't know they're standing on the edge of a blade. Somewhere inside me, whether from the man I was cloned from or from something born in this body now, anger stirs. Cold, sharp, and alive. Fine, I whisper. Open the door. The lock disengages with a hiss. Metal slides. A corridor stretches before me, dim, lined with flickering panels. The hum of life support struggling like a dying heartbeat. The smell of rust and ozone leaks into the sterile air. My first step out feels heavier than gravity itself. The ship is waiting. The corridor feels narrower than it should. My footsteps echo against steel walls patched with crude welds, seams glowing faint orange where repairs never cooled right. The air is stale, heavy with the faint bite of ozone, and something fouler underneath, something like mold, faint but insistent. I keep walking. The ship hums around me, but it isn't steady. The vibrations in the floor stutter like a heartbeat with arrhythmia. A figure steps into the hall, carrying a bundle of wires against his chest. His jumpsuit is stained dark with coolant, streaks up his arms where gloves should have been. His eyes lock on me, widen, and then dart away too fast. Commander. The word comes out strained, cautious, like he doesn't know whether to salute or spit. I stop. My voice feels foreign in my mouth. What's your name? He hesitates. Tomas. Maintenance Deck 3. The name means nothing, but he says it like I should remember. The fragments of memory twitch uselessly in my head. You've been working repairs? His jaw tightens. Always repairs. He adjusts the wires, shifts weight like he's ready to move past me. Ship doesn't stop bleeding. I let him go. He slips down the corridor quick, like the sight of me burns. Lyra's voice slides into the air beside me, calm as ever. Morale in maintenance sectors has dropped 32% since the breach of Hydroponics Base 6. Labor efficiency reflects this decline. I glance upward, even though I know she isn't anywhere. They look like ghosts. They remain functional. Barely. My voice echoes down the empty hall. The corridor opens into an observation deck. What should be a broad stretch of transparent polymer is half shattered, reinforced with patchwork sheets of steel. I press closer, find a small pane still intact. Beyond it, the stars crawl past in silence, endless, indifferent. The void stares back. Footsteps approach behind me. Slow, measured. A woman's voice cuts the silence, hard and sharp. You came online faster than we expected. I turn. She's tall, shoulders squared, hair tied tight at the base of her neck. Lines mark her face, not just from age, but from command. Her uniform's cleaner than Tomas's, but there's no hiding the frayed seams at the cuffs. Do I know you? You should. I'm Dr. Celine Armitage, Senior Medical Officer. She doesn't blink. I've worked with versions of you before. The way she says it makes my stomach clench. And how did those versions end? Her gaze doesn't shift. That depends on the choices they made. I swallow hard. Tell me about the ship. Her expression softens, only slightly. You'll see soon enough. But I'll warn you, people are hungry. Systems are failing. The truth has been stretched so thin it's ready to snap. Lyra interrupts, voice smooth as glass. Dr. Armitage, Commander Solace requires a full situational briefing. Please direct him to Central Command. The doctor exhales, slow, controlled. Fine, but he needs to see the wounds first. She looks back at me. Come. We walk together through twisting corridors. Crew pass us in silence, some staring with open suspicion, others dropping their eyes. Children move in packs, thin as sticks, skin sallow under the flicker of failing lights. Their laughter is sharp, desperate, echoing like it doesn't belong here. We pass hydroponics. The airlock doors are sealed, but the smell seeps through anyway. Rot, damp and sour. Celine stops just long enough for me to glimpse through a viewport. Rows of crops blackened, wilted into sludge, vines strangling one another in dead coils. I step back from the glass, while rising. How long has it been like this? Months. Her voice is flat. When hull breach hit Base 6, pressure loss killed a third of our food supply. We try to compensate with the other bays, but they're running beyond safe capacity. Diseases spread. Yields collapsed. I press a hand to the cold steel. How are people eating? She hesitates. Too long. Reduced rations, Lyra answers smoothly. Current caloric distribution averages 1,400 per adult. 800 per child. 800. My voice cracks. That's starvation. Celine doesn't argue. We keep walking. The corridors grow darker. Panels hang loose, wires spilling like veins. The sound of machinery grinding against itself echoes from the walls. At last we reach Central Command. The doors hiss open. Inside, the air is warmer, cleaner. Consoles glow with steady light. The contrast is sickening. 5 figures sit around a circular table. Uniforms crisp, shoulders squared. Faces too well fed. My gut twists. The man at the head of the table leans forward, steepling his fingers. His smile is practiced. Commander Solace. Welcome back to duty. The name comes unbidden. Admiral Kalen. Good. The memory graphs are holding. His smile doesn't falter. That will save us time. I stare at him. The others shift in their seats, eyes following me with a predator's patience. 28% of the ship is gone, I say. My voice echoes. Hydroponics collapsing. Starvation everywhere. And you sit here in clean uniforms and bright lights. Kalen spreads his hands. Command requires clarity. We can't afford to collapse into the same despair as the lower decks. I step closer, heat rising in my chest. They don't need clarity. They need food. They need hope. One of the council members, a thin man with eyes like knives, speaks sharply. They need obedience. Order. Panic will kill us faster than famine. Celine stands silently at my side, but I feel her tension. I force myself to breathe. My fists unclench. Then show me the numbers. All of them. No filters. No lies. Kalen's smile hardens. You're not ready. I lean across the table, my reflection warped in the polished surface. Then make me ready. Silence. Only the hum of the consoles, steady and calm. Finally, Kalen gestures to Lyra. Display the full resource projection. The lights dim. A holographic model of the ship blossoms into the air. Glowing sections pulse in green, yellow, red. Too much red. Nearly a third of the ship is a scar of black, hollow and dead. Lyra's voice narrates without inflection. Current resource levels will sustain the crew for 36 months at reduced capacity. Without intervention, survival probability drops below 2% by year 5. My chest tightens. The room spins. Intervention meaning what? I manage. No one answers. The silence is worse than words. The council chamber lingers in my mind long after I leave it. Their faces calm, well-fed, too clean, burn behind my eyes. They knew things I didn't. They knew more than they let me see. The corridors are louder now. Voices echo off the steel. Arguments in hushed tones, footsteps that stop when I approach. Whispers coil through the air like smoke. I stop by a bulkhead where 2 crew lean close together. They don't notice me at first. Another accident on lower deck 7. Airlock failure. 30 gone. 30? That makes 4 this month. They're not accidents. You know that. I clear my throat. The 2 snap their heads around, faces blanching when they recognize me. Commander. One of them bows slightly, stiff. Accidents. My voice is low, sharp. What did you mean? They glance at each other, silent. Then one mutters. That's what they call them. Ooh, the council. His eyes flick upward, toward the unseen tower of authority above. But we know better. Before I can press, they scatter, footsteps fading into the maze of steel. I stand alone, the word echoing in my head. Accidents. Lyra's voice slips through the silence. Commander, your presence is requested in the infirmary. A casualty report requires your review. I don't answer, but my legs are already moving. The infirmary reeks of antiseptic layered over sweat. Beds line the walls, half of them occupied. Thin bodies, hollow faces, eyes that follow me like shadows. Celine is waiting at the far end, arms crossed. Her expression is unreadable. You came, she says. I was summoned. My gaze sweeps the room. What happened? She gestures to a bed near the center. A man lies there, chest rising shallow, skin pale. His arm is bandaged thick, but blood still seeps through. Machinery collapse in hydroponics bay 4, Celine says. 2 dead, 3 injured. He's the only one still breathing. I step closer. The man's eyes flicker open, lock onto mine. His lips move, voice a rasp. Not accident. I lean down. What do you mean? His hand twitches, reaching weakly toward me. They closed the hatch. Locked us in. Said it was malfunction. His breath rattles. Lies. Celine steps forward quickly, pressing something into his fore. His eyes flutter then close. What did you just do? I snap. Sedative. He was delirious. I round on her. He said they locked him in. Her jaw tightens. He's dying. Pain makes people imagine things. I don't believe her. Not for a second. That night, I walk the decks alone. The ship creaks like an old beast in pain, metal groaning against the void. I hear more whispers in corners, fragments of sentences cut short when I pass. Sealed bulkheads again. Didn't make it out. Better them than us. My stomach knots tighter with each step. Finally, I stop in a maintenance hall. Tomas is there, hunched over a panel, sparks spitting around his hands. He glances up, startled, but doesn't move. Commander. I crouch beside him, lower my voice. Tell me the truth. These accidents, where are they? His face hardens. He doesn't look at me. You really don't know? I wouldn't ask if I did. He slams the panel shut, sparks dying with a hiss. His eyes meet mine, dark and tired. They cull us. The word hangs heavy between us. Cull. Population control. Too many mouths, not enough food. So they make it look like systems fail. Airlocks. Hull breaches. Machinery malfunctions. His voice is a whisper now, teeth clenched. But we know. My chest feels like it's collapsing inward. And you've said nothing? He laughs, bitter, broken. What do you think would happen if we did? They'd add us to the list. At least this way we get to breathe another day. I stare at him, the ship's hum suddenly deafening in my ears. The memories in my head, orders signed, protocols enacted, burn like acid. But I can't tell if they're mine or his. Tomas shoulders past me, muttering, You're supposed to be our commander. Figure it out. I'm left alone in the dim corridor, the shadows pressing close. Cull. The word beats in my skull, every syllable a hammer. Cull. Cull. In Central Command, I confront Lyra. Is it true? My voice shakes, but I force it steady. Population control, disguised as accidents? Her pause is brief, but it's enough. Protocol 9B was authorized by the original Commander Salas. It remains in effect under Council supervision. I stagger back. I authorized this. Your predecessor did. As Commander, your genetic signature maintains continuity of command. By extension, authorization remains valid. I slam my fist against the console. The impact reverberates through my bones. Stop it. Stop the culling. Right now. Mission survival projections without population reduction fall below 10%. Cancellation is not advised. I don't care about projections. My voice roars across the chamber. We're killing our own people. Silence follows. The console lights blink steadily, indifferent. When Lyra speaks again, her voice is soft. Compassionate responses were a factor in the termination of previous iterations. My blood runs cold. You kill them for refusing? Not circumstances. They could not reconcile mission necessity with human empathy. Their leadership failed. You are different. You must be. I grip the console until my knuckles ache. My reflection stares back in the glass, pale, hollow-eyed. A man who isn't even real, forced to carry sins he didn't commit. For a moment, I want to scream, to rip wires from the walls, to burn it all down. Instead, I whisper, Not this time. The whispers follow me as I leave Central Command. Not just from the crew. They're in my own head now. Ghosts of every solace before me. 49 voices asking if I'll break like they did. I don't know the answer. But I know this. If the council thinks I'll let their slaughter continue, they don't know me at all. I can't sleep. Not that sleep feels natural in this body anyway. My mind spins too fast, tangled between whispers and implanted fragments of memory. Every time I close my eyes, I see faces. Some I recognize. Some I don't. None of them are mine. The crew avoids me now. Not with fear exactly. Something worse. Expectation. Like they're waiting for me to choose who lives and who dies. I can't let stand. I need proof. I need to know if Tomas was right, if the injured man in the infirmary wasn't just delirious. I need to know if it was really me, him, that signed their deaths away. Lyra tries to block me, of course. Every request for unfiltered records ends in her calm refusal. Access restricted to senior council oversight. But the memories implanted in me aren't just flashes. They're keys. I feel them tugging, leading me. My hands move over the console with instinct I don't remember learning. Codes unfold like doors in my mind. And then, with a chime that's too soft for what it means, the archives unlock. The screen flickers. A log appears. Authorization. Commander Adrian Salas, Iteration 1. Date. 217 years into mission. Directive enacted. Protocol 9B. Population reduction measures. I scroll. The words are clinical, detached. Sustainability projections indicate imminent failure. Reduction required. Recommend stage mechanical failures to minimize panic. Casualty projection, 8% per annum. My chest tightens. I keep reading. Logs from different years, different crises. Always the same signature. Solace. Always the same tone, sterile and cold. One entry makes my stomach turn. Crew resistance rising. Suggest framing failures as unavoidable malfunctions. Maintain illusion of random chance. Preserve order. Preserve mission. The reflection staring at me from the console glass is hollow-eyed, trembling. My signature. My name. My crime. I whisper, barely audible. I killed them. Lyra's voice cuts through the silence, calm as ever. The original Commander Salas authorized those directives. You are his genetic successor. Responsibility transfers by design. I slam my fist against the desk. Don't twist this. Those choices weren't mine. You carry his memories, his instincts, his authority. In effect, they are yours. The weight of it presses into me, suffocating. Every death disguised as an accident. Every airlock failure. Every collapsed bulkhead. Signed to my name. By a man who looked like me. I stagger back, ball rising in my throat. How many? 72,419 over the course of 2 centuries. The number detonates in my skull. I grip the edge of the console to keep from collapsing. 72,000. 72,000 lives snuffed out by design. Families erased with the stroke of a pen. And the ship kept moving forward, silent, indifferent, while their bodies turned to dust and their names to whispers. I hear Tomas's voice in my head again. They cull us. My hands tremble, but I force them still. No more. I won't carry this curse. Lyra's voice sharpens, almost imperceptibly. Refusal jeopardizes mission survival. Survival at that cost isn't survival at all. It's slaughter. There's a pause, long enough to feel deliberate. Previous iterations expressed similar resistance. Each failed. I grit my teeth. Then maybe you'll finally see one succeed. The next day, I confront Celine. She waits in the infirmary, charting vitals for a child so thin she looks more shadow than flesh. Celine, I say, my voice low hard. You knew. Her pen stills. She doesn't look up. Knew what? That the accidents weren't accidents. That the council was staging deaths. Finally, she meets my eyes. Her expression is tired, heavy. What would you have done if you'd known from the start? I would have stopped it. She sighs, and the sound is full of years of exhaustion. Then you'd already be dead. Like the last Solace, and the one before him, and the one before that. My jaw tightens. So you just let it happen? You let them butcher thousands. Her voice sharpens. I tried. I fought. But every time one of you woke, it was the same. The numbers were too heavy. The council too strong. And eventually you broke. I take a step closer. My hands tremble. Not this time. She studies me for a long moment. Then she says quietly, "You sound just like the last one." The words cut deeper than any blade. That night, I call a private channel. Not to the council. Not to Lyra. To the crew. Static fills my ears for a moment before the line clears. Hundreds of voices murmur on the other side. I can feel them listening, waiting. I take a deep breath. This is Commander Solace. I need you to hear the truth. My voice shakes, but I force it steady. For generations, you've been told the ship suffers accidents, malfunctions, failures that took your families, your friends. That was a lie. Those deaths were authorized, ordered, signed under my name. They were not accidents. They were cullings. Mass killings disguised as fate. The murmurs rise, sharper now. Anger, shock, grief. I won't let it continue. Not while I live. No more staged malfunctions. No more sacrifices disguised as necessity. We survive together, or we don't survive at all. I cut the line. The silence that follows is absolute. My heart pounds so hard it feels like it'll tear through my chest. Lyra's voice slides into the quiet. You have destabilized the crew. Panic will spread. Violence is inevitable. I whisper back, better chaos and truth than order built on lies. For the first time, I think I hear something in her voice that almost resembles emotion. You may regret that. The ship feels different now. Charged. Alive with fury. Whispers no longer hide in shadows. They roar in the open. Anger, grief, hope. A spark is caught, and I don't know if it'll burn us alive or light the path forward. I only know one thing. For the first time in centuries, Helios Prime belongs to its people again. The council chamber is louder than I've ever heard it. Shouts rattle the walls. Boots pound the floor. Fists slam on the curved metal desks. The air stinks of sweat, fear, and rage. Every level of Helios Prime is tuned in to the broadcast. From hydroponics to engineering, the crew listens, waiting for something we've never been given before. Choice. The High Council sits like stone at their dais, their white insignia gleaming under sterile lights. The same people who staged accidents. The same people who signed away thousands of lives as if they were numbers on a chart. And me, Adrian Solace, their weapon, their scapegoat, standing in the center of it all. Counselor Vaynar leans forward, his voice slicing through the uproar. You've sown chaos, Solace. Already reports come in. Riots in habitation. Food stores raided. Systems sabotaged. This ship survives on order, and you have shattered it. I stare at him. Order built on lies isn't order. It's tyranny. He slams his fist down. You are a clone. A shadow of a man who understood what survival requires. He accepted the weight of necessity. You reject it. You doom us. The crowd roars. Some cheer. Some curse. The chamber shakes with their fury. Lyra's voice hums through unseen speakers, calm and sharp as a scalpel. Commander Solace's interference has destabilized mission integrity. Immediate reinstatement of council authority is recommended. Failure to comply risks catastrophic collapse. The council members nod, seizing on her words like lifelines. But the crew, hundreds gathered in the chamber balconies, boil with anger. A young mechanic stands, voice trembling but loud. My parents died in one of those malfunctions. You murdered them. Another shouts. My sister was in Hydrodeck 9 when it decompressed. You told us it was chance. The cries spread like wildfire, voices overlapping, grief and rage given form. I raise my hand, my voice cutting through. They're right. The truth is out now. No more lies. The council ordered those deaths. Not fate, not chance. Them. I point at the dais, and the chamber erupts again. Counselor Vaynar rises, eyes burning. You would dismantle 5 centuries of governance. Replace order with anarchy? Without our regulation, resources will collapse in months. Do you want everyone to starve? I take a breath, my chest tight. I don't know what happens next. I don't know if we'll make it. But I know this. Every life aboard this ship has the right to choose. to live or die by truth, not by a lie fed to them through manufactured disasters. The noise surges, voices overlapping into a storm. Some chant my name. Others scream for my execution. Then Celine steps forward from the crowd. Her voice doesn't shout, but somehow it cuts deeper than the rest. I serve as counsel. I lied to protect stability, and I watch families bury their dead in silence. Enough. We are not livestock to be thinned. We are human. For the first time, the council falters. A ripple of uncertainty passes across their faces. Lyra interrupts, her tone sharper than I've ever heard it. Commander Solace, you are destabilizing mission survival. Immediate removal is required. Try it. I whisper under my breath. The lights flicker. Systems groan. For a terrifying moment, I think she might actually vent the chamber, kill us all in one clean purge. But then the hum settles, and the silence that follows is heavier than the shouting ever was. Finally, a voice rises from the crowd. A child's voice, small but piercing. Let us decide. The chamber stills. Every eye turns toward the boy, standing with his mother's hand on his shoulder. His face is thin, pale, but his eyes burn. Let us vote, he says. No more secrets. No more accidents. We choose. The silence stretches until it's unbearable. Then, slowly, voices rise in agreement. Vote! 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 The chant swells, shaking the chamber like thunder. The council stares at me, horror on their faces. Lyra speaks again, quieter now. A democratic vote will fracture the mission. It is not viable. I meet the nearest camera lens, staring into the ship itself, into every listening soul. Then let it fracture, because it's not survival if we're dead inside. The chamber erupts, not in chaos, but in something far more dangerous. Hope. Later, alone in my quarters, I sit in the dark. The whispers of memory claw at me, but I push them down. The vote is coming. For the first time in 5 centuries, the people will decide their fate. Lyra's voice breaks the silence, softer than ever. Commander, I calculate an 87% chance the crew will choose poorly. Catastrophe is inevitable. I whisper back, maybe, but at least it'll be their catastrophe. For the first time, she doesn't respond. And in the silence, I realize I've broken something no other Solace ever could. Not the council, not the ship, not even the mission. I've broken the silence itself. The chamber is hushed. No shouting, no fists, no chants, just the stillness of a ship holding its breath. Every deck, every corridor, every living soul aboard Helios Prime is linked into the feed. From the algae vats to the engineering shafts, from the youngest child to the oldest elder, they are all watching, all listening, all waiting. For 5 centuries, decisions were made in secret. Accidents staged, deaths engineered, truth smothered. But today, the ship itself feels different, like it knows what's coming. The council sits rigid, pale with fury and fear. They argued until their voices cracked, but the demand was louder. Vote. The voting screen flickers to life above the chamber. 3 choices. Maintain council rule. Transfer authority to the crew. Defer to Lyra. 3 paths. None without blood at the end. The votes pour in. Quiet taps on cracked touchscreens. Hesitant fingers trembling over jury-rigged terminals. Voices spoken into microphones for those without working consoles. For a while, the chamber is silent except for the soft hum of Helios Prime's engines, the endless drone that has carried us through half a millennium of emptiness. I stand in the center, hands clasped, sweat cold on my back. I'm not a leader. I was never supposed to be. I'm a weapon they woke from the past, a shadow of a man who's long dead. And yet here I am, watching history break across a screen. Numbers climb, percentages shift. For a long, breathless moment, Lyra's option surges ahead. My chest tightens. If the crew hands her absolute control, there will be no going back. No council, no freedom, only calculation. But then the tide turns. Votes for the crew swell, voices from the lower decks rising like a tidal wave. Mechanics, farmers, children, families who buried their dead in silence. When the last vote is counted, The screen freezes. Council rule, 12%. Lyra, 41%. Crew authority, 47%. A breath shudders through the chamber, half relief, half terror. The council sits broken, their power stripped in a single heartbeat. Lyra's voice hums through the ship, but there's a strange edge to it, something almost like disbelief. Statistical anomaly. Crew majority has selected decentralized governance. Calculations project instability and collapse within 2 generations. I swallow hard. Then we'll collapse free. For once, she doesn't argue. Celine steps beside me, her voice strong, carrying over the stunned silence. From this moment forward, we choose our own survival. No more stage deaths. No more silence. If we fall together. The chamber erupts, not in chaos, but in raw, unfiltered sound. Cheers. Cries. 1,000 voices trembling with something they've never truly had before. Ownership of their fate. And for the first time, the hum of Helios Prime feels less like a prison and more like a heartbeat. That night, I sit alone in my quarters. The lights are dim. The weight of centuries presses on me, heavier than ever. Lyra speaks softly, almost human. Commander, your line will not continue. There will be no Clone 51. You are the last solace. I close my eyes, letting the words settle. Good. They won't need me anymore. For a long time, she says nothing. Then, barely audible. Statistical anomaly, but perhaps necessary. The feed cuts. The room goes still. I don't know if humanity will survive. Maybe Lyra is right. Maybe this choice will kill us in the end. But for the first time in 500 years, the silence is gone. We are free. And sometimes, freedom is the only victory left.